What is up, bros and barettes? I'm Inkslasher, and welcome to another episode of Top 10 Paint Jobs, the series where we look at paint jobs and camos as submitted by you guys in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Now, we've done this for a while now, going all the way back to Black Ops 3, and it seems like every single week we get better and better paint jobs, and really this week is no different. However, if you would like to submit your paint job or emblem for a chance to get featured on a future video, the way to do so is get a high-resolution screenshot and send it to me on Twitter. My Twitter link will be the first link down in the description, or you could just send it to @Inkslasher. And as long as it's a high-resolution screenshot, you have a chance to get featured on a future video. Speaking of which, everyone who submitted a paint job to this video and is getting featured, there will be a link to their social media, either their Twitter or YouTube, down in the description below. So if you'd like to check them out, all of that is down in the description as well. Also, guys, if you enjoy this series, you like the top 10 paint jobs and top 10 emblems, and you want to see more of these videos, the way to show me is simply hitting that like button. The more likes these video gets, the better they do, and in turn, the more of these I'll actually make. So if you enjoy this kind of thing, be sure to hit that like button. But without further ado, let me shut up and let's hop into the top 10 paint jobs of the week. Coming in at number 10 this week, we have one by Canales Josua. Sorry if I butchered your name, dude, but this one is on the Strife, and as you can see, there are just a bunch of social media app icons throughout the weapon. Starting from the left, you got Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, and finally Facebook. And we have actually seen one of these before way back in Black Ops 3. It's super simple, but looks really good, and as you can see, he also sent me an in-game shot with the diamond camo on there as well, and I think it's just looking pretty fly there. Coming in at number 9, we've got one sent in by Evil Platypus on YouTube, and this is, of course, Captain America's shield on the Strife pistol. Now, the magic with the Strife pistol is that you're able to actually cover most of it with a paint job, whereas the other weapons in the game, you can only cover certain portions of it. That's why you'll see a lot of paint jobs in this series on this pistol, because you can cover most of it. Now, this looks even better in game, and I will say I really like that the shield is centered on the weapon. I have got submitted some other Captain America shields, but they were off to one end of the weapon or the other. I really think this one looks good right in the middle there. On top of that, he went the extra mile and submitted the same paint job, but also with the mother of pearl camo on. And the cool thing about this is with this camo combined with the paint job, it almost makes the shield look like it's worn and torn, been through battle, and it looks really good, and in my opinion, once again, looks even better when you look at it in game. So I think he did something really cool here, especially when combined with that mother of pearl camo. Now, in the last episode of Top 10 Paint Jobs, you may remember Willick BSP actually submitted the Strife camo that was a Nintendo Switch built onto the side of the Strife. Well, someone else this week decided to submit another one, but up the ante a little bit. So Enchanted Zenny this week decided to submit a similar paint job, but also on top of that, throw the Smash logo into the middle, making the screen look like it's playing the actual game, which I really like, and I'm really interested to see how in-depth people could really go with this. So if you have any ideas of what you could put on there, feel free to send them to me over on Twitter. Like I said before, a link will be down in the description, or just send it to @Inkslasher. Up next at number 7, we have one submitted by Zoquiix. If I butchered that a little bit, I'm sorry, but this one is a Kowai paint job. Now, you may think that this one looks a little bit familiar, and the reason for that is that this was actually a camo that you could buy for money back in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. So he brought this one back, and you can definitely see the resemblance between these two paint jobs. And once again, in-game, this one looks even better playing on hardcore here with no HUD. On top of that, if you're a Black Ops 2 player, this one may give you a little bit of nostalgia. Up next, coming in at number 6, we've got one submitted by It's Crispy on YouTube, and this one I personally didn't recognize, but as soon as I looked it up, I knew exactly what it was. This one is a Neon Ryder paint job. Now, if you don't know what Neon Ryder is, you're probably like me and haven't played too much CSGO, but this is kind of the comparative paint job in CSGO. And you can definitely see the resemblance, and I actually do remember some people making a similar paint job to this back in Black Ops 3. Now, the one thing that I will say, and Treyarch, if you're listening, please make it an option that we are able to put a paint job across an entire weapon. Paint jobs look so much better when the entire weapon can be covered. This CSGO skin is a perfect example of that. So, if you're planning on any updates for this, I would love to see the whole weapon covered in paint jobs, or maybe in your future game, but that is the one big improvement I'd like to see in paint jobs. Coming up next at number 5, we are at that halfway point, and this one is by Angry Bulldog Gaming on YouTube. And I believe that this is either his 3rd or 4th episode in a row that he has made it on. And he has a ton of great tutorials over on his YouTube channel. As I mentioned before, everyone's social media will be linked down in the description. But the one we are looking at here is some crime scene tape paint job. This would be the tape that says "Do not cross" crime scene that police put up at crime scenes. And this one's looking really good. The thing that I like the most about this one is how he kind of makes this one a little bit 3D by adding shading to certain parts of the tape, by making it look like they're stacked on top of each other. I think it adds a lot to it, and that's really what brings this one together and makes it look really good. And after that, at number 4, we've got one submitted by Ronderu04 on Twitter, and this one gets better the longer you look at it. This, we can call it like a crocodile paint job, and it's on the RK7. Now, the cool thing about this one is he used that front grip as the crocodile's jaws. Now, it took me a little bit to see it, but once you see it, you definitely notice that that bottom grip looks like the bottom jaw of a crocodile's mouth. And this is just one of those things that I love to see in paint jobs. That amazing use of space that makes you look at a weapon completely differently. Now, the other thing to mention is he did submit some in-game footage of this weapon as well. It's not as noticeable in-game, but definitely in the menus, you can see the resemblance to a crocodile opening his mouth. And the one thing's for sure, after seeing this paint job, I will never look at the RK7 the same again. Up next at number 3, we've got one submitted by Dalton on Twitter, and this one is of course of Kirby. This one is on the Rampart, and I think the main reason why I like this one so much is purely nostalgia. Just looking at this one really brings me back to playing Kirby and the Crystal Shards back on Nintendo 64, and I absolutely love that game. The other thing I really like about this one is he has a pretty good depth of field on this. By making Kirby really look 3D, adding some shading to him, it really brings this whole thing all together, and I think another thing he did a really good job with this one is really nailing those colors. It makes this one really pop off the weapon and look really good. And then as far as number 2 and 1 go, they are very similar, and it was very hard to pick what one was better than the other, but the one at number 2 here is on the Spitfire and was sent in by JP Gaming on YouTube. And this one you're looking at here is obviously of a dragon's eye. Now, the one thing I remember way back in the day in art class is my art teacher told me that the 2 hardest things to draw on people are eyes and hands. Now, my art teacher didn't mention anything about making emblems in Call of Duty, but I will say I'm pretty sure the skill would have to carry over, and this one is so detailed and so well done, it's just impressive, even down to that little bit of shading on the eye to make it glow, and that really does bring this paint job together. Now, just imagine for a second this eyeball and this paint job from before combined together. That would look absolutely incredible, and I would love to see someone do that in the future. And speaking of dragon eyes, at number 1, we've got one by Rosor_24 on Twitter. And like I said, this one's very similar to the one in second place. I think one of the reasons I like this one a little more is because once again, with that stripe, you can cover the entire weapon. And on top of that, once again, the amount of detail in this paint job is impeccable. Looking at the eye, incredibly detailed. The shading looks great. And once again, that eye has that nice little glow that you would expect to see when the light hits someone's eyes. And in my opinion, where this paint job really shines is when you look at it in game. It looks so much better, and that shine on the eye really stands out like we talked about before. And it's rare to see a good paint job like this, but it's even more rare to see it look this good in game, and that's why I picked this one as the number 1 paint job this week. But as always, if you disagree with me and you liked another one better, feel free to let me know which paint job was your favorite down in the comment section below. I'm always interested to hear what you guys like the most, and that input really does play towards what I pick for the future videos. So feel free to let me know down in the comments. And speaking of future videos, if you would like to submit your paint jobs or emblems, the way to do so is get a high resolution screenshot and send it to me on Twitter. As I mentioned before, the link to my Twitter will be down in the description, or you can simply send it to @Inkslasher. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, if you enjoyed the video and want to see more videos like this one and the series to continue going strong, the best way to show me is simply hitting that like button. It helps out the video and shows me that you want to see more videos like this one. On top of that, guys, if you're new to the channel, like what you see here, the best way to stay up to date on all of my videos is make sure you hit that subscribe button and have notifications turned on. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are rich. reaching for the stars, but we're making